Hey, I got a quick question for you. Are you showing up as the expert authority in your business, making sure that your message is on point and your branding is reflective of your go-to authorityness? Hi, I'm Christine Blosdale, your expert authority business coach, and I have a way for you to rate your expert authority prowess. And you can check it out at expertauthorityquiz.com. It's fun, it's easy, and it's something that you really should be doing to see where you level up. If you want to establish trust with your audience and potential customers and clients, you might want to take this quiz. Once again, head on over to expertauthorityquiz.com. That's expertauthorityquiz.com. Welcome to the Expert Authority Coach Podcast, the one-stop spot for entrepreneurs, coaches, authors, and business owners just like you who are ready to rise, shine, and finally be seen as the go-to authority in their field. I'm your host, Christine Blosdale, also known as the Expert Authority Coach, and my mission is to help you build a magnetic brand, grow your visibility, and turn your expertise into real, lasting influence and income. If you want to dive deeper, head on over to my website, expertauthoritycoach.com, where you can explore all the groovy stuff that I've created for you. And you can even book a free discovery call with me. I'd love to hear from you. Once again, head on over to expertauthoritycoach.com to book that free call today. And if you're enjoying the show, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's ready to step into their expert authority as well. You can share the love, and only good karma will come back to you. I promise. Alrighty, so let's jump into today's episode. Hey, welcome back to the Expert Authority Coach Podcast. I am that said there, Expert Authority Coach. I help overwhelmed entrepreneurs get seen, get trusted, and get paid for what they already know. And I am so excited because I have some who's like my doppelganger, really. I have someone on the show today who does pretty much the same thing, but with her own unique signature. And we're talking today, of course, we're continuing our conversation about human design. And I think it's one of the best tools that any coach can use when you really want to help your clients get through the muck, but also help them work in ways that they shine and that they really love. And we've covered part one, we've covered Projector, which is what I am and what my wonderful guest is. And today we're going to be talking about another human design person, character,
Type.
right? Avatar, whatever they're going to call it. My guest today is Mel McSherry. And Mel is an international business and life guide. She uses human design in partnership with proven business development tools and frameworks so that entrepreneurs can be profitable mentally, emotionally, energetically, and of course, financially. Welcome back, Mel.
Thank you. I'm so excited to continue this conversation.
I know. All right. So we'll do the short Reader's Digest version for those that are just joining us and they have not seen part one, but they're here for today. Real human design. What the heck is it?
Yeah, so human design is a tool that utilizes several different modalities. It utilizes quantum physics, astrology, I Ching, Kabbalah, and the chakras. There we go. And what it does is they are layered together to show you your energetic blueprint. I like to call it your operations manual. It shows you how much energy you naturally have, where that energy comes from, how you make your best decisions, your most profitable decisions, and what are your most profitable characteristics that you can utilize in bringing your purpose to life.
Well, that was very good. That was
Thank you.
you did very good on that. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about generators and
Yeah.
not generators that you use when your power goes out and you need to
Right.
you need to light
But
up
you know
your
what's so
house.
funny is the aspect is a little bit of the same
Ah,
because in human design, so generators are 70% of the population and they have a lot of natural energy. One of the things that I find interesting about human design, and I find many things interesting, is that we're all not naturally energetic beings. When we
no.
talk about projectors, hello. We are one of the non-naturally energetic. But when you get to more of the top of the heap, I guess you could say, that would be generators and manifesting generators. And both are very naturally energetic beings. But what's interesting about these beings, and especially generators, is their strategy is know thyself and wait to respond. Now, you're going to hear a theme in a lot of these strategies because 90% of them have an element of weight to
Yeah,
them.
yeah. As a projector, I understand this completely.
Yeah. And as a generator, that can be the first area of contention because you have all this energy. And I
Right,
always tell my generators and my manifesting generators, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
right,
So when you have that strategy of know thyself and wait to respond, what it's doing is it's allowing you to pause just a scotch so you can really understand what you're saying yes to or what you want to pursue. Because you're not the initiator, you're the follow through. And so to have that pausing point to understand, ooh, are you taking this idea and running with it without any other information to support it? Or was this coming from a piece of information that you have heard constantly and you're realizing that there's a theme to it and therefore you're following through with that
right,
inclination?
right.
And what supports that even more is that generators have what I call a stair step style of success. They are meant to be masters. They master everything that they want to utilize inside of that success step. And when they've hit the plateau, which they always will, it will start off with a little ping of frustration because they'll go, oh, but this is working. Why isn't this working? Well, it's because you have mastered everything inside of it. So it's not an area to get mad about. It's a celebration point.
Right.
It's a
Wow.
time for you to go, oh, I've mastered everything. It's time to look for the next level. So let's look at everything that worked. Look at everything that didn't. What are the things I want to keep? What is it that I want to know more about or more information to receive too? Welcome that in, get that new information that you've been waiting for as you get to know yourself now in this moment, hence the strategy.
Yes.
And then you move on to that next stair step. So it allows for a really sustainable success as well as really understanding the power of your energy without overextending yourself.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's a lot of detail in there. Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to communication style, because
Mm.
I only know how I communicate really
Hmm.
because of being a projector, and that's all that's really important. No, but let's say I have a client who's a
Yeah.
generator, and maybe their learning style or their communication style is
Mm.
different. What do you know about that on generators? How do they learn? How do they learn best?
So, questions like that actually start to deviate into different areas of your chart. This is why knowing your type is really good information to have, but it doesn't give you all of the answers to all of the
Mm.
elements of who you are. So, to that, I would say, well, I would look then, is their throat center defined or open? Where is their Mercury? Which gate is that in? And what theme or intention does that have? What is their profile? What are their main characteristics and how they bring their purpose to life? So that's why understanding the rest of your chart is so beneficial because yes, you can get a lot of information from, okay, I know that I'm supposed to wait, boo, but whatever. And I know I have all this energy. Okay, all of this makes sense. Now, who you are as a generator is then defined through the rest of the areas of your chart.
Got it. And I'm hearing the collective audience going, okay, how do I find out my chart? Now, they can actually book time with you where you'll
Hmm.
go through you get their
Hmm.
information and then you figure
Yep.
out. I guess it's sort of like also like when people say I'm a Scorpio, right? And I'm a
Yeah.
Scorpio. Right? And it's like,
Yep.
okay, well that's
Yeah.
good, but where was your moon? Because your moon is like really important. It's like your emotional, like, who
Yep.
you are. Your
Yep.
rising, right? Which is like, I guess, who
Hmm.
you show the world who you are,
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Hmm.
Then you got Mercury, which is your
Your
communication.
houses and your, yeah.
Yeah, all
Hmm.
that stuff, right? And I found out I've got like
Yeah. Hmm.
5 planets in Scorpio. So I'm like, I'm in, I'm in, when you look up Scorpio in the encyclopedia, as you, that's showing my age, right? We don't
I
have
use
encyclopedias
encyclopedia all
anymore.
the time. I still say Rolodex. I'm like, oh, I'll add it,
Oh,
I'll add them
that's
to my
cute.
Rolodex. I'm like, oh, how
That's adorable.
I know.
But yeah, so there's layers to that. So if they want to,
Absolutely.
if already they're intrigued and they're like, oh, I
Yeah.
need to find out my chart. How do they do that with you?
Yeah, so they can go to my website, melmcsherry.com, and at the top it says Work with Mel, and it's the Entrepreneurial Human Design reading. And what I do is we spend 90 minutes together inside of your chart. I go over your type and your strategy, your centers and your authority, your profile and your incarnation cross. I know a lot of that is like blah, 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 blah. Basically, what I'm showing you is your overarching energetic blueprint. So you
Ah,
will get all of the validation and confirmation of your, again, your main personality, characteristics that bring your purpose to life, your communication style, what avenues are most profitable to you when it comes to marketing, sales, conversations, and so forth, as well as the awareness of, oh, that's why that didn't work. Cool. Now that I have that proof and the vernacular to advocate for it, how can we just course correct it back to your natural rhythm and to your design?
that's so valuable. That's so valuable for you, for your business, for your
Yeah.
relationships. Oh my gosh.
Oh, parenting, everything. Yeah. And what's even cooler, I think, is that after we spend that 90 minutes together, you still get 30 days access to me through a application called Voxer. So you can still process, ask questions, implement this information. So it's never a
That's
here is
great.
you,
Bye.
Christine, deuce
Here you
out.
go.
It's here's you. Let me walk next to you as you start to get your legs underneath you with this information, and then see from there what aftercare, if needed, I can support you with.
That's so good. You're such a good service provider. I love it.
Been doing it
All
for a
right.
bit.
So back to generator. What are some highlights that when you let's and again I know there's different layers and the
Yeah,
5-2 and the 3-6 and the all that
yeah.
different things. But
Yeah.
as a whole, when it comes to
Yeah.
generator and you're working, let's say, with someone who's a generator, what are some
Mhm.
some things that you in your head go, right, this is a generator, so I need to blank.
Mm. Yeah. So the big thing is I usually look at, their routines, their processes, their offers. Are they trying to overextend themselves? Because
Ah,
again, they have the energy to do so, but do they actually need to? So
right.
really looking where they're starting to go too far or start too soon. Because again, they're not the initiators, they're the follow through. So helping them sit with themselves, again, going back to that know thyself and wait to respond. There's a lot of work inside of that, and especially with what does that look like for them? Because human design is not meant to be taken, quote unquote, literally. It's meant to be customized to, well, what does that mean to you? What does that look like in your day-to-day life? We talked about this about your
Yeah.
wife and the way that she's a projector in such a different way.
Yeah.
And so it's that same aspect of it's information for you to then recognize how that sits with you and how you can implement it. But I typically start with, okay, because you're usually overwhelmed, you're burnt out, you're exhausted. Let's start to curtail it back to things that really hone in on not only your energy and how profitable it is, but making sure you're still taking care of yourself as well.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to encourage our listeners and our viewers, those that are watching the video, to contact Mel and book that session in, especially if you're if you're projector generator, if you don't know what you are, you should book a time with her. And that's over at melmcsherry.com. We'll have a link in the show notes. But I'll tell you something, one of the most valuable things is that when you do get your full chart and you actually dive into it, you're able to look back and go, I knew that. Like
Hmm.
for projector, like we're not supposed to be in an office 9 to 5 every single day for years and
Hmm.
years, right? That and I always
Hmm.
felt like I was wearing shoes that were too tight, right?
Hmm.
And then when
Yeah.
I started working from home and working the way that I produce like crazy and I'm in my
Hmm.
element, then I
Hmm.
felt like the shoes were taken off. I'm barefoot all the time anyway, right? But but I was like, yes, this feels so good. But I was trying to fit myself into this world that
Yeah.
was this 9 to 5 world. But that's not how
Yeah.
I grew and how I
Yeah.
flourished. So for generators, if listening to this episode, and you're like, I don't know why I feel like I'm a I'm wearing too tight shoes in my
Mm,
circumstance, it might be because you work in a different way than everybody else.
mm-hmm.
Or you might
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
flourish. You might love talking around the water cooler and doing the 9 to 5, chit chat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because generators are coined the worker bees. I don't like that term because then a lot of people think that they're drones or that they're meant to work. No, what that means is that you are meant to be in work that fills you up because that's where your energy starts to really produce the profitability. So when you're in spaces, and this is true for everybody, but it's a little bit different for generators when you're in environments, as you mentioned, that just do fill you up, then it's not work to you and your energy is being utilized correctly. But then when we lean into well, I have it, so I should, so I'm just going to work this or do this because I can, that's where we start to go, okay, let's reframe that and really look at where that's coming from and also what is that actually mean to you.
Oh, I love it. All right. So I'm gonna just remind people to check out Mel's website and book that. And what is that called? What again? What is the program that
It's
you offer?
an entrepreneurial human design reading.
Okay. And that's at melmcsherry.com. We'll have a link in the show notes. And I encourage everybody to listen to all of the different episodes in this series to find out, especially if you're married to somebody who's maybe a projector or a manifester or very few, the 1% of the reflectors in the world. It's really good. And to know about your kids, what
Mm-hmm.
they are, but definitely check out Mel's website and book that session. And I think you're going to get a lot of clarity. And that's what we want. That's what this show is about, is giving overwhelmed entrepreneurs the tools that they need. Sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
motivation. Sometimes it's, hey, I found this new program and I think everybody will really dig it. But then other times like this, it's about having that blueprint about how you can really
Mm-hmm.
shine and share your gifts with the world in a way
Yeah.
that feels good, barefoot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
right. I love that. Feels good barefoot. Yep.
Thanks again, Mel, for being on the show. And thank you, wonderful listeners and viewers who are watching this. Thank you so much for being with us today. If you want to find out more about the work that I do, you can go to expertauthoritycoach.com. There's a link in the show notes for that as well. And share this episode if you got something out of it and you want to let your generators know how fabulous they are. All right. Take care, and we'll see you soon.